Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Ladvice. Let's get talking, let's get sharing. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you've all had a good day, good week, a good month. It's great to see that things are opening up that little bit more now. We're getting back to normal. I hope to see all of you out having fun with your friends in the near future when the lockdown kind of comes to an end or the restrictions begin to ease more and more. But in the meantime, stay safe, look after yourselves and look after your friends and family, your loved ones, where it's safe to do so. Want to start off by just saying that this podcast is going out on YouTube, all good podcast platforms, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that good stuff. And today's podcast is about being sacked from my job. Well, that's just a bit for a dramatic effect. I wasn't necessarily sacked, but I was let go due to COVID-19 and the kind of economic implications that's being seen across all industries at the moment, but in particular the airline industry. I was an employee of Dublin Airport Authority. I was an IT project manager and I was employed there for maybe about 3.5 years. One other thing to note is that my mic that I bought and has been working fine previously has decided to act the absolute bollocks and isn't working anymore. So that was a stressful experience this week and something that I could have let get on top of me, but I've just chosen to park it to the side, leave it for a later date and try and fix it then afterwards. So I'm recording this on the Canon camera. I'm going to use the sound from that as well. Video and all that good stuff going up on YouTube, sound going out on all the podcast platforms. Anyway, stay tuned and let's just get into the fact that I'm sacked, unemployed, on the scratcher. Not actually on that. And I suppose I'm kind of laughing and cracking a few jokes here, but I suppose I would say that there's probably many people who are in similar situations or scenarios that I find myself in right now. And by recording this podcast video, all that good stuff, I'm hoping to just share my mindset, my outlook, and kind of my response to the news, and in the hope that it can be of some benefit to anyone else who's going through a difficult time at the moment. And maybe you guys can interact with me, share your experiences, share your story, how it's affected you, all that stuff. And maybe you can give me some top tips on how you've dealt with the news or the situation, or maybe you'll be able to take some tips and tricks, techniques, and some of the kind of how I've deployed my mindset in this scenario in order to benefit me. Because it is negative news, there's no getting away from that, but at the same time, let's flip it on its head, let's turn it into a positive. It's a new opportunity for me and a chance for me to go and seek faraway hills which are hopefully greener. But yeah, essentially let go from a job. I was in there for about 2.5, it was about 2 years in a full-time position as a junior IT project manager, and I was in there for a further 1.5 years as an IT project intern, which I obtained through college. I studied enterprise computing in college, so I'm a big fuck-off nerd. I'm a dork that does computers, but I'm actually breaking down the stigma about talking about men's mental health, and I'm breaking down the stigma that people that work in IT are dorks. We are people, we are human beings, and we are diverse. We're not all the same. So let's just get rid of that stigma. Anyway, the news was broken to me very kindly. I think everyone in work, was really supportive and I suppose sympathetic to my situation. And they've all had so many kind and caring things that they said to me as soon as they heard the news. And I suppose one thing I will say is the management and the people that I was surrounded by in there were really enjoyable to be around, really helpful to be around, and I suppose people who were more senior within the company were always very helpful and assistive, and I've learned a lot of great knowledge and experience from those guys. So I just want to say thanks to them if anyone's watching. Hello. But yeah, essentially it was said to me, you know, oh Nathan, look, we've got some really bad news. It's really hard to break it to you. You'll be a real big loss to the company, blah 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 blah. But we're gonna have to let you go. And it was because of the COVID-19, which is out of my control, out of work's control, and the situation just is what it is. But I could have chosen to be like, oh no, this is a disaster. What am I going to do? I'm going to be unemployed. I'm not going to have any source of income. And I could have started to worry about loads and loads of things. But first of all, let's just put things into perspective. As I've already said, bad news these days is people dying because of COVID-19. Bad news these days is people not being able to see their family members. Bad news these days is, you know, just the sheer implications globally that this coronavirus has you know, had an impact on. But me in my own little bubble here, in my own head, positive mindset, looking to turn this negative news or kind of this challenge that has been put in front of me into a new opportunity more than anything else. So I wanted to flip that negative into a positive and use it as a way that I can progress in my career. And you know, I've always been someone who's very ambitious, someone who's always been very driven, motivated, and wanted to succeed in whatever he does in life. It's, you know, whether that is personal stuff or whether that is professional career. And this is what I'm going to use this opportunity, this chance that I've been forced to take. You know, it's something that, you know, you get into a job and you become very comfortable. You're like, yeah, steady paycheck, you know, could get used to this, you know, put the feet up, do your job Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, come home, have a laugh, go out the weekend, yada yada yada. But I think if you do want to progress, and you do want to progress at a pace that, you know, is maybe more advanced than others, you do need to take strides, you do need to take chances, you need to kind of go and seek new opportunities and grab them with both hands and just go for it, which is what I'm going to do now. So I've really held at the forefront of my mind through all of this is to remain positive, to maintain my self-belief, and ensure that my mindset always is driven towards positivity, and have a belief in my abilities, remain ambitious and determined to progress. And, you know, regardless of what anyone else thinks, going for interviews, it's kind of a way that people judge you and see if you're a fit for the job. Regardless of what anyone thinks, I know what I think of myself, and I'm my own number one fan. So that sounds so cocky, but to be honest, you gotta believe in yourself even when no one else does. And I've actually had a lot of belief from other people as well, which has been really helpful and I suppose encouraging. But my potential options were get a new job, do my own thing, or go on the COVID payment. So what I decided to do was I was going to apply for jobs. I was going to put myself out there, see where I'm benchmarking against other people in the market who are applying for stuff, and then doing my own thing. I've always been so ambitious. I've always had ideas, but ideas will always remain ideas if you don't put action behind them. So I said, Nathan, right, this is it. You're going to do it now. No excuses. Get it done. So I decided to set up my own web design company, loonywebdesign.com. Check it out. Use discount code Ladvice10 for 10% off, and I genuinely mean that. But yeah, building websites for people, it's something that I'm really interested in, and it's quite a buoyant industry, and something that people need now more than ever is websites so that they can interact with their customers in an online forum. But so I've done that. There we go, big pat in the back. I got one client within the week that I've had from being let go to now. I've had one client, and that's fantastic, really good, positive, motivating, encouraging, all that good stuff. I've had 3 job interviews. I'm going to do a podcast on job interviews because I think, you know, there is a lot of whole mental aspect behind the approach to interviews and kind of the way you look at them and all that good stuff. I've had 3 interviews, and just today I've gotten fantastic news that I've been successful in one of them. So It's not quite signed, sealed and delivered yet, but all I can tell you is that it's a really, really, really good job. Really excited to get into it, and just can't wait to see what the future holds. And I think a lot of that is down to my mindset, my reaction to the situation, and I suppose again a lot of that stuff about the self-belief, positive mindset, and just you can't control anything else that's going on in the world, but you can control your reaction to it. You can control your own effort, your own kind of outlook on the situation, and you can control your effort. And that's what I've done since I've gotten this news. It's just focus on me, controlling what I can control, and going and doing it. And if I wanted something, I knew deep down that I couldn't go and get it. So that really concludes the podcast. I really, really do hope, if anyone is in this situation, reach out to me, drop me a message across all social media platforms. It's called Ladvice.ie. I'll be really more than happy to help, or just listen if you do need someone to talk to. I understand that it can be a difficult time, but I hope you got some value from this, and I hope that some of the approaches and some of the things that I've stutter there. Some of the things that I've deployed in order to respond to this situation can be of help or benefit to you. So that really concludes the podcast. I love the bones of every single one of you. Hope you enjoyed this. If you do have any suggestions on what we should talk about next, please do. Gonna do one on interviews. I've so many plans to get these podcasts done, but this mic, for a long time I said, no, I can't do a podcast, the mic is broken, but sometimes you gotta just get it done, and that's what I'm doing by recording it on the Canon. Anyways, I love yous and leave yous. Hope yous are all doing good, and stay tuned for more. I'll catch yous all again in the next one, and peace.